Hello everyone. Something I'm going to try to do with this video is try to analyze one of my own games, where I tried to do a dive comp with some friends of mine. We were running a D.Va, Winston, Mercy, Lucio, Tracer, and Genji, and I wasn't able to figure out how to pause the video while recording my audio because I don't have the tools at my disposal, but I'm going to try my best to just narrate what was going on through my mind as I was playing this match because we actually performed pretty well, and I really like running the dive comp. So I'm trying to analyze to see what worked, what didn't work, and yeah, let's try to have some fun with this. So right now it's just a basic setup. I'm gonna try to cut this out of the video. I left it for the purpose of the intro. So at the beginning of matches, I tried to look for fire strikes. There wasn't a fire strike there, but there was some Symmetra balls. I want to make sure that my team doesn't get damaged by those. Look, I even missed the fire strike there. I really don't want the enemy team to get the Reinhardt fire strike or the Symmetra balls. I try to go out first as much as I can to try to take out the turrets. Usually best with Reinhardt shield. Now what I tried to do there was try to bump Reinhardt off the high ground, which kind of worked. I mean, I didn't move him myself. He ended up falling off. Here I'm putting pressure on the shield. Try to take the Rein out, give us the advantage in the team fight. It's not working. I'm failing, and I should have falled back very, very long time ago, but I didn't, and I lost my flying, and I lost my mech. See, that was a bad example of pushing way too hard, and now I'm gonna die to the D.Va. So returning to the fight here, something that I always make sure of is to dive in forward and make sure my squishies are behind me, put pressure on the Reinhardt, try to bait out a charge of some kind, make him get out of position. Not sure how many times I'm going to repeat that in this video, because I do remember bullying this Reinhardt a lot. Since I'm the only one that can really deal with the turret, I fly after it, try to take care of it, see the molten cores drawn out, which is very good, and make sure it's wasted. I do believe here we fall back a little bit, but there was an unfortunate D.Va bomb that did wipe out one of my supports. What we should have done here is back out, but I guess we were kind of caught and we lost the fight. Something that I shouldn't have done here was try to damage the D.Va because I was effectively just giving the Mercy ult charge there. Something that I've been trying to work on when out of mech is knowing whether or not to try to get back into mech, whether or not I should jump into mech. Because effectively, if I get back into mech in the middle of a team fight, I'm basically just giving the enemy team 600 HP, or yeah, 600 HP worth of ult charge. There, I see Soldier running away. I don't even attempt to go back in. I see the D.Va ult, which is very interesting because she just used it. I'm not sure how quickly she got it, but I mean, that was from one spawn to the other, so that's pretty insane. Here, I noticed that the Ryan is not protecting his team, so I go for a cheeky ult bomb, which actually works. Which is, I mean, to tell you guys the truth, half of the ult bombs, mech bombs that I do use, I try to be as cheeky as possible whenever I do see something fishy like that, like the Ryan just being completely out of position. It's really noticeable whenever Orion is just not protecting his team. So I try to take advantage of that as much as I can. Here, what I do love is that me and Winston were on the same page, and we jumped onto the late respawners, and we took Mercy out of the equation as quickly as possible. So what I'm trying to do here is take advantage of the Winston distraction. Try to give him some cover fire as much as I can. I see he comes back. The great thing about Winston and D.Va, I feel, is that they're both really annoying characters to deal with. Like, you can't kill them quickly, they can't kill you quickly, but you have to deal with them while your DPS does work. That Reinhardt was completely out of position. We should have focused him. I probably should have fallen back. Um, really bad mech bomb there. She wasn't going to get anybody with that. I never believed in putting the mech bomb on top of the payload unless it's an absolute emergency, because everybody kind of expects it at this point. Alright, so here, same basic principle. Trying to put as much pressure on the run as possible, make him make plays, make him move out of position. It's really important to make sure Ryan is not comfortable at all times. If his barrier is going down, he's gonna have to move. He's gonna have to do something different. If he's just standing there confidently, if people are scared of it, I mean, he's not gonna really be doing anything. There, I get charged and saved. So thanks for that. So here, what I'm basically doing is covering the Winston as much as I can. Okay, let's take a look here. Yeah, same thing. I think I overextend a little bit too much here. I was taking too much damage, and I didn't quite realize what bad positioning I had. Try to take advantage of it as much as I can, but sometimes it goes wrong. I believe this is where I threw an okay mech bomb. Sometimes I try to do mech bombs to just zone people. I should have thrown it a lot sooner than I did. I threw it just a split second too late. I should have thrown it when I was first aiming it, because the team fight was still going on. I feel like when I threw it, it was a little too late because everybody kind of anticipated what was about to happen. And then this unfortunate mercy res. It was so perfectly timed, that D.Va mech bomb. So here, what I should have done is probably retreated because of Symmetra. Yeah, it's a lost fight. I should have just left for sure. Something that I do know that I have to work on is looking at the kill feed. So going on back into the fight now, I'm just covering the Mercy, making sure nothing happens to her. When I see Genji ulting, I make sure I follow him up and make sure nothing happens to him. I saw that he got the kill, so I backed off and decided to put more pressure on the Rhine, looping him up as much as I could because I noticed he was backing off. Something I like to do with Rhines who are kind of cornered in a sense is to try to make them as uncomfortable as possible. Here I'm just following up with my Winston again, making sure that the picks that he decided to jump on get killed. And let's see. Okay, so here we have a pretty good position. The hallway is clear. Again, I move up to the front lines, make sure that the Rhine is distracted, make sure the Rhine is angry. And I'm not sure if I drew out that charge, but that was a terrible charge, and I'm glad that my team was able to bait him. See, at this point, I remember believing that the D.Va turned into Winston, and they swapped. And right here, what I know, every single time that I see a Tracer in the back lines, I switch from front lines to back lines, which is something I like to do as D.Va, making sure that my attention shifts. I did not see that mech bomb coming because I thought that the Winston was the D.Va player. Because I thought they were still going to do the same, two tanks or whatnot. I probably should have seen it coming. I mean, I don't think anybody really did. There's nothing we really could have done about that. If I was Ryan, who I usually play as my secondary, I wouldn't have ran away like I did. Okay, so now, I retreated, make sure my team is with me when I attack. The mech bomb that I'm about to throw was a zoning bomb. I knew I wasn't really going to get anybody with it, but what I wanted to do was distract as many people as possible to let my DPS work. And it ended up working out pretty nicely. I do remember losing my mech around here somewhere, but we were able to win the fight ultimately, which is the most important thing, obviously. Yes, the Reaper was the one that took me out, but he was ultimately outnumbered and had to run away. Something that I really like to do as D.Va is to make sure that the team is focused on me as much as possible and to put as much pressure on them as possible with my mech bomb. I should have gotten into my mech a lot quicker there, and that was really my fault. I believe that if I would have been able to get into mech, we would have probably won this fight a lot easier. I'm not even sure if we won the fight at all right now, because I do know we're in overtime. Um, I don't know. I'm not even exactly sure why I didn't want to get into my mech as quickly as I could. Maybe I wanted to draw it out as much as I could. That was a really bad mistake on my part. Either way, I should have been in my mech as soon as I got it. And we ended up getting the point anyway, but we would have probably won the point a lot easier if I would have decided to not be cheeky about it and just get into my mech. So on defense here, we switched over to a Rhine. My Winston became a Rhine, and we have a Reaper now. The support remains the same. Something I like to do, which I learned from a favorite player of mine, is to come to this top bridge as D.Va and try to draw some fire. What went wrong was that I forgot to realize that D.Va was probably going to be a problem because she could actually reach me with the Fair and Mercy. I tried to escape as soon as I could, but it wasn't enough. I should have stayed with my team. I should have supported the Reinhardt. Usually when I go to that bridge, it's mostly when there's like a more grounded team, maybe like a Zarya, Reinhardt, or even if it's a Winston. As long as there's no Pharah or D.Va or something that could actually reach up there and kill me quickly. The reason I like to do that is because it draws the fire away and it lets the DPS kind of work because people do see a D.Va out of position and they try to fire at her as much as possible. but the 600 HP really helps out a lot in surviving that. I'm not sure where that mech bomb was. That was an interesting one to say the least. It did uh, make us not defend the point, so it kind of distracted us a little bit. Here, I should be falling back already. I don't know why I'm not. I should not be fighting this Reinhardt. It's something that you should never do. Yeah, that's what happens. I lose my mech and I die, and I'm staggered. And yeah, something you should always be aware of, or I should always be aware of. I should be talking, is that when the team fight's done, it's done, and there's no use in just fighting somebody at a choke point like that. So this is actually pretty useful insight. I've never really done a video like this before, but it's pretty fun. Whenever I see a D.Va attacking anybody, I always dive on top of her and put a lot of pressure on her because I'm aware of the mercy that I'm playing with. The mercy that I'm playing with always backs me up in those D.Va fights. We try to get the D.Va out of mech as much as possible. That was an awesome boop. So here, since I see Ryan out of position, I put pressure on him. I know that his shield is really, really low. The Tracer diverted my attention. Something I should have done was probably just focus the Ryan and finish him off. That mech bomb was awful. I wish I could delete that. That's an unfortunate Tracer mine there. Ultimately, that was just sloppy positioning on my part, I believe. Once the Reinhardt was low and the team was fighting on the ground, I should have probably joined them on the ground and not tried to, stay on the high ground and blocking that Tracer. I should have just rejoined my team. Luckily, though, my team was able to pull it off and retain the point. So something that I was doing there was just making sure that Tracer doesn't get her burst damage. It's really easy to do as D.Va. Make sure Tracer doesn't get her shots in, since Tracer could potentially one-shot somebody if she does it correctly. There, I'm basically just defending the Mercy as much as I can. I'm not sure how this D.Va is getting her mech bomb so quickly, to be honest. It's pretty impressive, to say the least. Here, I wanted to leave the D.Va alone, but then she almost got her mech back again. This is a really, really interesting D.Va player. I rarely ever run across somebody that's that good at my level of play. Usually people don't want to play as D.Va. They go, recently with the Winston and Reinhardt, Zaryas. When they see me, they always go Zarya. Nobody ever counters our tank setup with another D.Va, I don't think. It's very rare when that does happen. So here again, putting pressure. See a D.Va on the high ground, knock her off. Don't bother diving her again after that, just making sure she's not on the high ground. There, my positioning was kind of weird, because I didn't know whether or not to defend the front or the back, but luckily I was able to swallow that Tracer bomb. After the hammer down, what I should have done is probably cover my team, but I decided to focus on the Tracer. Just trying to block as much damage as I can. Give some room for my supports to maybe do a sand barrier. Just try to last as much as I can. That's just quick reaction on my part. I heard the Pharah ult, tried to block as much of it as I could. It's always important to block those things. Like, I feel like if I'm not blocking Pharah ults, then I'm not really doing, like, half my job if she's active in a fight. Because Pharah bombs are, they're game changers. So here, like I said earlier, I really try to bully Reinhardt as much as I can, because there's not really much they could do to me. The worst they could do to me is I tried to matrix them with a D.Va bomb. The worst thing that a Reinhardt can really do to a D.Va is charge her, but I always try to position myself in a place where if he does charge me, he'll be completely out of position. That bomb landed not where I wanted it to land, but I ended up getting the very annoying Pharah. I wanted to aim it lower to give more pressure to the grounded team. Here, we're massively outnumbered. We're probably going to lose this fight, but I did hear my Mercy call out that she almost had res, so I just tried to dive onto the point. It didn't work. Oh man. It was pretty interesting. I can't wait to listen to this back and see exactly what went on. This is the first time I'm actually watching this video. This is a match from about 2 weeks ago, but I remember having a lot of fun during it. So here, my Mercy rezzed and told me to fall back, because it was It was a mistimed res because she was trying to contest as much as she could, trying to res the people on the point. They're telling me to back up. Whenever I back up with Mercy on my team, I try to fly up as much as I can so people wouldn't be able to hit us as much as they normally could. So here I noticed that the team fight was going on behind me. I probably should have noticed that. When my support was telling me to fall back, I fell back in kind of like the path of the payload, but probably should have done what I probably should have done was fall back to the team fight and be active in it. Something I always make sure to do, as you might have seen there, is whenever my Mercy is about to respawn, I try to fly back to a location where she can easily fly back and not have to walk the entire way back. See, something that I think we should have switched here. I noticed that in the middle of this fight, my Winston changed back to Winston, my other tank player. When they had a Reinhardt, I believe it probably would have been a good idea to also have a Reinhardt. And I'm not sure if this mech bomb worked entirely, but yes, I got the Mercy, which is very important. I tried to throw it behind them because, like I said before, the Rhine was out of position, and I mean, like I said, Ryan's out of position. They have to be punished. That's one thing that I mean, Reinhardt players should be really aware of is to see where he is in relation to his team, and to see what potential threats come to him. And something that he wasn't really doing there was defending his team properly. He was like behind the payload. He wasn't with his team. So something that I am always also aware of with Reinhardt, if there is an enemy D.Va, is to make sure that any kind of mech bomb isn't going to work. Um, there, he just lets his Mercy unprotected. Here, the focus is on the Pharah because I'm not sure if we have a proper hit scan or not, but if we usually don't have a proper quote unquote proper hit scan, so it's my job to focus her and block her ults, like I've said before. And well, that's the conclusion of the match. We won, and I thought it was a lot of fun.